Today's project is going to be to take a photo album like this and take photographs of it under good lighting conditions using cross polarization to get rid of the glare that you get on the pages from photo albums like this, and recreate this album as a PDF file that can be viewed on different devices like iPads and on the computer and shared with people. Now, the problem with a book like this is that you can't really take the photographs out and photograph them in many cases because this is a collaged photo book. And it's got writing in it and different stickers and decals and things, memorabilia. And so the pages need to be left intact, and you want to photograph them as they are. But the shininess on the page presents a problem. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to take our camera and we're going to focus it on a desk or something with lighting on each side of it at 45-degree angles with polarizing sheets on those lights to help remove glare, and then a polarizing filter on the lens of the camera. In order to do this DIY project, we're going to need a number of things. So it's not really an easy task. We're going to need a DSLR camera with a good lens on it. We're going to need a circular polarizing filter. We're going to need some lights to put on each side of the subject, like I said, at a 45-degree angle on each side of the subject. We're going to need Adobe Photoshop, Lightroom, and InDesign in order to recreate the book. The other thing that we'll be needing for this project is a color chart like this that you can buy online from X-rite. The color chart is very helpful in creating a camera profile to match the cross-polarized lighting that we'll be using for this, and it will help keep the color correct.
We're ready to actually start taking the pictures, and you can see the setup that we have here. We've got the book laid out in the spot where we want to shoot it, and we're going to shoot each page in exactly the same spot. Now, we actually ended up taking the pages out of the book in order to do this, so that each page was really exactly in the same spot at the same height. And at this point, we are ready to start editing. Now that we've finished taking all of our pictures and we've brought them into Lightroom, I'm not going to go through the process of importing photos into Lightroom, because if you use Lightroom and have it, then you'll know how to use it. But these are all of our pictures. You can see the setup here. I haven't yet edited, and the ones down here I've already cropped in. We'll go back to that in a minute. But here are my color cards. And this is the color card shot that I'm going to use. Here's the original shot. This is one that I've cropped into. And what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and export that, and you're going to export it as a DNG file. Now I've already done that, so I'm not going to export it again. But once you've exported that as a DNG file, you are then going to open up Color Checker Camera Calibration by X-rite, and you're going to go find the picture that you took of that color chart, and you're going to put it in. And there it is. Take that, drag it in, and there you have it. So you can see these little green squares here represent the color that's going to be checked. You want to make sure that those are within your squares. If they're not, and if they're somewhere like this, then you can go ahead and take these four corners and move them around. And when you have them moved around to where you think they're good, you can go ahead and create your color profile by just clicking on this button. Now that the profile is finished, it's going to ask you where you want to save it. By default, it's going to want to put it in Camera Profiles, which is an Adobe folder, so that it can be used by Adobe applications. We're going to go ahead and save it there. We've already done it once. We're not going to save it again, but that's where you save it. And then you are going to relaunch Lightroom, and once you've relaunched Lightroom, you will have that profile at your disposal for use. So let's go ahead and look at this first photo here. This first photo, go to Develop, and up here under Profile, you can see we've got just Adobe Color as the default profile. But in order to select the profile that you just created and apply it, you're going to go to Browse here and click on that right there, and you can see when you select it, the colors change a little bit. You're going to go ahead and select that profile, and now you're going to see under Profile that this is the profile that is in fact being used. So I'm going to pick one of these images, and we're just going to check what the changes would look like if we applied this profile. Now, if I click on this, or if I hover over it, you can actually see the changes that will be made if I apply that profile. And you can see that the reds there are much closer to what they should be. And this black in the background you can see is overly dark, overly saturated because of the cross polarization. So now that I know that image is going to look better, or the images are all going to look better with that profile applied, what I'm going to develop, I'm going to select the first image here. I'm going to go all the way here. I'm going to select the last image, and I'm going to go up here to Basic, and where it says Adobe Color, I'm going to click on Browse. I'm going to select my profile, and I'm going to apply it across the board. There we go. Now, since we've taken pictures of every single one of our pages in exactly the same spot, what we can do now in Adobe Lightroom is just go across all of these pages like this and sync them, and make sure that your crop is being synced, and then all of your pages are going to be cropped and ready for export. At this point, we simply export all of these pages. Let's go look at some of the ones that I've done here, and you can see all of our pages are in fact here ready to go. And at this point, we simply export all of these as pages and move on to the next step. We have all of our images exported. We are ready to move. So let's look at one of the directories. I've made a number of books here, and in each directory I put the pages for that book. So here is one of the books. Right here you can see all the pages, and what I'll do is open up one of the pages and look at the pixel size or the dimensions of the page, and that will determine that will determine the size of the page that I make in InDesign. So since this is roughly 11 by 11 inches, I've decided to go ahead and make a InDesign template that is 11 inches by 11 inches. So in InDesign here, what you're going to do is make a single page file, and in the middle of that page you are going to put a rectangular frame tool. You're going to use the rectangular frame tool, make a bounding box there, and then you're going to go to fitting, frame fitting options, and select fit content proportionally, and this becomes the template for the book. The next step now is to go out to the internet and download a script for InDesign, and the script is images to CSV, and I'm sure you can find it on the internet if you look. And what this does is when you click on it, you navigate to a directory. So we'll go ahead and navigate to one of the directories where the books are. You can see that there are all the pages in the book. Now we've already done that once, so the CSV file is already there. So when you do this, you select the directory and run it, and it's going to look like nothing happened at all. It happened so fast. But when you go and look in that directory, you'll see that there is a CSV file there. You open that CSV file, and you will see that it has a list of all the pages that are in that directory in order. Now, one thing to note, I probably noted a little late in the video, but one thing to note is that when you export your pages, it's good to start with not the number 1, but for example, number 100, so that the number of digits on the end of your page numbers here doesn't change, and the CSV file is able to be created in order. So there's the CSV file, It lists all the pages, and that is going to be used here in the data merge function in InDesign now that we've run this. So now that we've run that file, what we're going to do is go over to data merge here, and we're going to select the data source. Let's say that we're going to do the first book. So let's go ahead and do the first book. We select the data source, which is the CSV file that we just created. And then we click on this bounding box and we click on images and we run this. Now, as soon as we run this, what's going to happen is that InDesign is going to go look at that CSV file. It is going to create a new image for each page. Well, actually, you can choose here how many images you want per page, but I want one image per page. So I'm going to leave this at a single record. And when I click OK, InDesign now is going to just go out and create that entire book. Now that we've run this script, you can see here that we have a whole bunch of pages. We have one image per page as we expected. And really at this point, all you need to do is just export this entire file as a PDF booklet. So I'm going to select the place where I want to put it. I'm going to call this video tutorial. We're going to click save. Now I've chosen the print option, which allows me to export this book as a print PDF and an online PDF. It can serve as both functions. There are lots of different PDF settings here, which I won't explore in this video. You can choose the one that works best for you, but at this point you simply export and you have a PDF booklet of your photo album that you can share with people online and across all your devices, etc. So now let's go ahead and look at one of the books that we've exported. I've got one in each directory. Here is one of my books. You can see that it's PDF booklet ready to go, ready to share with people, and you've completed your task of taking a photo album, a photo collage album, and turning it into a PDF booklet. That is how you create a PDF booklet from a photo collage album. Now, interestingly enough, this is not a service we offer here at Bellevue Fine Art Reproduction. This is something I did for my wife, and I thought I'd go ahead and make a video because it does fall in line with some of the other DIY videos that we have done here at Bellevue Fine Art that highlight the special lighting, cross polarization, and custom color profiling we do in order to create fine art. I will, however, give a shameless plug to thepictureorg.com. If you're looking for someone to do this for you, if you found this a little bit overwhelming, which it might be, you may want to give them a call because they actually do this kind of thing as a service. There you go. Give John Spear a call at thepictureorg.com if that's something that you're looking for someone else to do for you. Hope that helps.